Hi, my name is Robin Yeman, and I am here to talk about Agile and DevOps within the Department of Defense. And I would like to introduce you to a friend of mine here who is going to partner with me on this presentation. Duong?
Hi, everyone. My name is Duong, and I'm delighted to be here. I appreciate Robin inviting me to have this great conversation and talk to all of you about this.
So I'm going to just go over this abstract really quick. But at a high level, at the first time in decades, I want to tell you that we're experiencing adversaries on two fronts. It really means that we have to double down and move at the speed of relevance. We have to go faster. And so I want to talk to you about what I've witnessed within the Department of Defense. I personally have worked within the government ecosystem in the last 26 years, and what I've seen in the last 5, I think is pretty impressive. So the first thing I want to do is anchor you in Kotter's 8 steps for change. So John Kotter wrote a book, and when you take a look at it, he talks about these 8 steps that allow us to make change. The first one's creating a sense of urgency, right? So we want to make sure that there's a reason for the change. And then from there, he talks about forming coalitions, right? Working groups of people that can help collaborate and move the change forward, because change isn't easy. Then we want to talk about creating a vision, right? So we need line of sight to those common business objectives for everybody to be able to take a look so that we've got at least a common goal, a common path. Then number 4 is communicating that vision wide and far, right? Probably farther than you would think. From there, we want to remove obstacles to change. And then look at generating short-term wins. From there, we're going to build on that change and then make it stick, right? These are hard things to do. But one of the things that I've noticed is as we're making this change for software delivery within the DoD, it looks like that whether intentionally or unintentionally, we're actually following these steps.
Hey, Robin, and I just want to add, I think one of the challenges, and you're right, a lot of these organizations, especially the software factories, have been following some of these steps. But oftentimes what happens is you're doing bits and pieces of each step and not necessarily having a concerted effort where you're trying to build upon each one. So that's part of it. Sometimes that if you don't do that, sometimes you will regress in some ways. And oftentimes, a lot of times you have to kind of cycle back and kind of revisit some of these other steps previously, because there are things that have changed or matured, and you need to kind of continuously make those adjustments over time. So taking this as an agile approach versus a waterfall step approach.
Absolutely, that's a great point. I think you're going to see this throughout, is that we are revisiting iterative and incremental. In 2018, James Mattis came out and talked about the need for urgency. In order to keep pace, the department needs to transition their culture, which is huge. I mean, the DoD is one of the largest employers in the world. He talks about success not going to the country that develops the tech first, but rather the one that best adapts and integrates it. And the downside is he talks that our current bureaucratic processes are insufficient or unresponsive to being able to make that change, right? So he's trying to set us up to create a culture or a climate for change. And the reason that's so important is because our adversaries are moving forward, and we need to make or keep our competitive advantage.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to add too is that in the past, especially in the DoD front, the US's superiority is because we were able to build hardware better and faster because we had the money to do so. Now that software is sort of a great leveler and everyone has access to that capability, now you have to find ways to actually be competitive, and it's not trying to build something that no one else has. It's actually adopting what's out there already move faster, and it's the speed in which you integrate, like, Secretary Mattis talked about, is what the competitive advantage is. So no longer is it like I keep secrets of how I did something and do all. It's the formula of actually having a culture and the frameworks to actually build quickly and change quickly. That's how you stay competitive.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. The next step we talk about is forming a coalition. Now, the one here that I'm describing is the Defense Innovation Board, and they were started in 2016 to bring technical innovation and best practices in the Silicon Valley to the military. I know there's a number of others. Duong, do you have any thoughts on what you've seen in this area?
There's been a lot of changes, throughout. I've been kind of focusing a lot within the Air Force myself, and one of the things that we've seen kind of happen is, there's been a stand-up of the DSOG working group that is basically a set of leaderships from each of the military services coming together and really looking at how do we do security across the services so that we can actually share and inherit each other's security posture versus trying to build the same thing over and over again and then basically having to check other people's work. So there's this really great movement to really collaborate across the DoD and actually share the results of the work that everyone does really well.
Awesome. The next step within Kotter's change is creating a vision, right? And we saw this happen